person that I recently met who I truly feel has made an impact in my life as becoming a friend, someone who I think is a cooler version of who I could be. She's our love force hero. She's a patient of Dr. Nasser Hanna, who introduced us. We met recently, got together, we've had a few conversations, and I found her to be a wonderful, endearing, educated, interesting person, and I can't wait to bring her to tell her story. Patricia Copley, our love force hero.
Share my experience and have a chance to once again sing the praises of the wonderful Dr. Nasser Hanna, who is my when I thought about what I would say, I think I get 10 minutes. Wow. I thought of the different roles that I played: mother, grandmother, teacher, gardener, former Peace Corps volunteer, in Ethiopia, traveler. It brought me to, and currently, in treatment for stage 4 lung cancer with a new drug, nivolumab, which I did as a clinical study. Until a year and a half ago, my only frame of reference for the word mab, M-A-B, on the end of that nivolumab, was a plain mab in Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's play. Now I know that that medicinal suffix, mab, stands for monoclonal antibody, indicating that the drug works with the immune system to fight cancer cells. From early diagnosis to present treatment, I've had teams of talented and compassionate doctors and nurses, and in particular, caregivers who saw me through the rough times. First of all, my sister, who is over here with me, my wonderful granddaughter, Lainey, my son, Drew, friends Barb and Joan, very good company through those 3 and 4 hour chemo treatments. And I should not neglect Mom's potato soup, a continuum of wellness from my childhood. I almost wanted to be ill so that I could have that wonderful potato soup. So here's my story of cancer. It began with almost an accidental thing, being tricked by my cat while I was carrying a tray of hot tea and hot soup into the TV room. And in order not to go down with the tray, I sort of laid it on the ottoman there and twisted a little bit and hit my shoulder. By coincidence, that was only a week before it was time for me to have my annual checkup. Well, I told that story to my doctor as sort of an amusing anecdote, and I don't know what made him say, you know, you're 70, let's have a chest x-ray. I had no symptoms, and so that is indeed what I did, and that chest x-ray did show that I would have the CAT scan, and then I would get hooked up with the whole system of what was going to happen over the next couple of years. The biopsy proved cancerous, and so the upper left lung, lobe of my lung was removed. We settled on a regimen of chemotherapy after that, just to be sure about things. And initially that was very effective. I had a 3-day treatment every 3 weeks. It was pretty debilitating, And when it actually wasn't effective anymore, I mean, it was effective certainly at the time that I had it, but within months, the cancer had returned and it was stage 4. It had also traveled to my brain, and so it was necessary to have radiation and laser surgery. That was my wonderful Dr. Mulherin, which I had hoped he would be here, but I haven't seen him if he is. And we discussed that he had used all of the drugs in his arsenal, and he wanted me to go to the IU Medical Center, and particularly to Dr. Hannah, who had been both a friend of his and an instructor and all of that. I began a treatment of infusions there eventually when I qualified for a clinical study. Dr. Hannah explained the drug would attack not only my cancer cells, but maybe even healthy cells. And in my case, it was cells that were on places on my arm that were sun damaged spots way from long ago before I was using sunscreen. And for a month or so, I thought of myself as a leopard woman, and it was a minor thing. And that was just really about the only side effect that I had from taking nivolumab. Through the Writers Center, I continued that time working with middle school students from the Concord Neighborhood Center. I was a teacher for 39 years. I can't not have a fix of kids. And I am also a poet. And believe it or not, you can trick them into wanting to write some poems as well. When I couldn't make it always to my treatment, the teacher had them come up with an idea of a trait and an object that would get me through this treatment and be helpful to me as a survivor of cancer. So the things that they came up with, just mention a couple of them. I have a poem in here on shoes of courage, on a hat of humor, on a fishing pole of patience, a vest of vigor, that's one of my favorites, and a walking stick of curiosity. I continued also to meet with my poetry group through that winter treatment, and in particular with my special friend Tracy Mishkin. She, I guess, bullied me into assuming, collecting my poems that I had been writing over the years, and she said, "You're going to publish a book." So kind of between that wonderful boost from the kids and from my friend Tracy, eventually she found for me a publisher, and the book was published this spring. I called it Dressing for the Weather. It was a poem I had written years ago, dedicated to my mother, who I walked to school, always had me dressed for the weather, particularly that yellow slicker that was just sweaty, you know, when you got there. And anyway, I collected it into these poems. And I would like to share with you the last poem in my book. It was written long before a diagnosis of lung cancer. I love gardening, and I was an inveterate gardener. And I love to go to art museums and special exhibits and all that. And these two things came together. But when I came later to have this diagnosis of stage 4 cancer, I saw in it that I had prepared the way with this poem. It's called Within the Frame. You cannot feel the air shimmering between these leaves, the water slightly faded on the canvas edge. Even if you wait, the flowers will not fold and colors drain to black. This lesson in seeing allows only light's erosion. Follows you from the gallery to your garden. This year, you settle on the longest bloom of daisies. Each time you weed, you touch the flower centers and rub the yellow dust between your fingers and dig at the plot's edge a few more inches for next year's larger plan. And that's what I feel I have gotten in this clinical study and the treatment. I've gotten to be able to look forward to something else. Thank you.